Good morning, grade 8, lesson 39, no, exercise 39, lesson 18, the general ledger and the posting from the cash payments journal. So what I want you to remember, owner's equity equals capital plus net profit minus drawings, and your net profit is income minus expenses. Your assets, the ones that you actually use in grade 8, land and building, vehicles, equipment, bank and cash float. Alright? Remember, for each debit we have a credit. For each credit we have a debit. So what we're going to look at is your cash payments journal. Posting that to the general ledger. I've already written in some of your folio numbers. So let's quickly see. Bank's folio number B5, wages, folio number N1, consumable stores N2, stationery N3, and then water electricity N4, land and building B5, cash float B6, postage N5, equipment B3, vehicles B4, and bank, okay, we've done that, drawings B1. Alright, boys and girls, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your CPJ and you have to post to your general ledger. So your total bank amount will go to your T account B5 and bank is B5, right? Wages, the total wages for the month will go to N1. So N1 is your wage account, right? But let's start with this now. So in accounting, for each debit you've got a credit and credit a debit because you need to be in balance. Right, so let's start with bank. What happens is we took money out of our bank account because we made payments. So our bank decreased, so our bank account is going to be credited with a total amount of 681,750. The information was taken out of my CPJ1 and it is for the month or the year 2013, June, and it's a column, so we take the total amount for the month, so that's the 30th. And our details will be total payments. Now what was one of our first, the first column after that? One of our payments that we did was for wages. So somebody worked for us, people worked for us and we paid them a wage, and in the month of June we made a total payment of 20,000 Rand. So if my bank was credited, I need a debit and my wage account will be debited to bring it into balance again. So my wage account is going to be debited 2013, June the 30th. I've taken money out of my bank account. I did the transaction, I recorded that in my CPJ, sorry, yes, 1, and the amount 20,000. Can you see wages is an expense? So what does an expense do? It decreases my profit, so it also decreases my owner's equity. Right. Then the second column, after bank, consumable stores. For the month of June, we made a payment of 21,750. So my bank was credited because money went out of my bank account. My bank account decreased, and the payment that I made was for consumable stores. So my consumable stores will be debited June the 30th. The money came out of my bank account, I made an entry into my CPJ, and the amount 21,750 was for the month. Then my last column is stationery. For the month I made a payment of 7,000, so I bought 7,000 Rands worth of stationery. my bank decreased, so my bank was credited with the amount of 7,000 for the month, and then my stationery account will be debited with 7,000 on June the 30th. I took money out of my bank account, I recorded that amount into my CPJ, and the total payment for the month was 7,000 Rand. So I'm finished with my columns. So now I go to my sundry accounts and I need to read off the date of the transaction. So my first one, water, electricity, I made a payment of 4,800 Rand. So my bank decreased. I took money out of my bank, and what did I pay? I paid the water and electricity. So 2013, June, but now it's not the 30th, so I have to go and read. It was on the 3rd. I took money out of my bank account. I recorded that transaction in my CPJ number 1, and the payment was for 4,800 Rand. Okay, then on the 5th, I bought land and building. I took 420,000 Rand out of my bank account. My bank account decreased, so my bank was credited with the total payment. And what was my payment? Land and building. So I'm going to debit my land and building with 2013, June the 5th. I took 420,000 Rand out of my bank account, and I've recorded that transaction in my CPJ number 1. Then my cash float on the 7th. So bank, I took money out of the bank and I brought that 2,000 Rand to my business. I put that 2,000 Rand into my cash register because I need change for my clients when they purchase from me. So I put that money into my cash register as change for my clients. So my cash float account will be debited on 2013, June the 7th. I took money out of my bank account, I recorded it into my CPJ, and the amount was 2,000 Rand. Boys and girls, then on the 7th as well, I've made a payment for postage. So my bank decreased, my bank was credited. What did I buy? What did I pay? Postage. So my postage account will be debited. 2013, June the 7th, took money out of my bank account. I did a CPJ entry, and the amount was 400 Rand postage. The next one, equipment. But as you can see, on the 11th and on the 14th, we purchased equipment. You're not going to add that together because it was on different dates. Alright, so we purchased equipment. My bank decreased. I took money out of my bank account. My bank account was credited with the total payments. And the payment was on the 11th. I've made a payment out of my bank account. What did I buy? I purchased equipment, so my equipment account will be debited with 28,000 Rand. But then on the 14th, I did the same. I took money out of my bank account. I did a CPJ 1 entry, and the amount came to 25,000 Rand. Right, so my equipment account was debited because bank was credited. Then I purchased vehicles on the 20th. So my bank account decreased. I took money out of my bank account. I made a payment, so my bank account was credited. What did I buy? I bought a vehicle and I paid cash for it. So my vehicle account is going to be debited with 2013, June the 20th. How much money did I take out of my bank account? 145,000 Rand. And I made a CPJ entry. in my CPJ 1. And then the last transaction for June in my sundry accounts is then drawings. So the owner took 8,000 Rand out of the business bank account. So the bank account was credited with 8,000 Rand. And what was the payment? The payment was for drawings. The owner took 8,000 Rand for himself, for personal use. So my drawings account is going to be debited with June the 25th. I took money out of my bank account. I've recorded it into my CPJ and the amount was 8,000 Rand. So boys and girls, if you want to see if this amount corresponds with your debits, if you add all your debits, that will be drawings, land and building, both equipment amounts, your vehicle, your cash float, your wages, your consumable stores, stationery, water and electricity, and postage. If you add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 amounts, if you add those amounts together, your debit amounts, it will be equal to your credit of 681750. Please take a calculator and add it to see if it corresponds. Alright, so what does that mean? We had the same credit every time because we took money out of our bank account, but then the payment was debited, so we were in balance the whole time. Boys and girls, I would like you to do exercise 40 for homework, and that will be for the week of the 3rd of August. Let's make it on the Thursday, so that's going to be the 6th of August. Please, exercise 40 is your homework, then for that Thursday, the 6th of August. Thank you very much.